Welcome. It's Cindy Fodor here with Stamp the Love, and it's Make It Monday. We'll do the intro now. So I have been playing this afternoon with True Beauty, stamp set from the annual catalog and dies. I've had it for a little bit, and it's time to take a little break from fall and Christmas that I'm working so feverishly on, and just play with something beautiful and fun. So I have two fun folds to show you tonight, and a new technique that I just learned. So I hope I have everything ready, because I was like stamping. I'm like, oh, it's 7:30. I got to get ready. So anyways, let's flip over. I don't have a lot of intro to tell you. Yeah, it's October. If you haven't decided on your Christmas card yet, you might want to get going on that. There are some things that have been selling out. They're coming back. A lot of things. Stampin' Up! Is doing a really good job of keeping tabs on everything. So hopefully if they're out of stock, they're not out for long. So hey Kelly, hey to Lara, hi Kay, welcome. All right, so are you ready to get started? Let's flip over to my other camera, and yeah, maybe if I hit the right button, there we go. Okay, so we are using True Beauty. Let me just grab it here. So here is the stamp set and the dies. Oh, it looks like my lights are just a tad bright. Let's turn that down just a little bit. How's that? All right, and there's one more die that goes with this, and it's sort of the best reason, the main reason I bought this set originally. But the paper is beautiful as well. Boy, I have a mess of it here, so let me just pull it out and show it to you. I've used most of this paper, which I needed for one of the cards that I did, but I won't be able to show you. There's that one. And the backs of all of these are just so yummy. This one we're going to be using, this one, all these pieces will cut out with the die cuts. So I'm going to be using the other piece of that, but there's the back of that one. We're using this one and that one. And look how beautiful this is. Isn't that pretty? I did not use that one at all. That's not true. I did use that for the one technique I'm going to show, but you don't see how big and beautiful. It's just a small piece, so you'll have to look at it here. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there. Okay, so where should I start? I have so many things to show you. Let's start with the one where we cut out the paper. I'm going to set this one aside. We are going to use this. I want to tell you about what else I'm using. Let me just do that real quick. I've decided to stick to, I use the Quatrefoil embossing folder. It doesn't look like much, but it packs a punch. I'm using, and I've used up pretty much all my opal rounds. I used all the small ones. So I use that, and I use the Stylish Shapes dies for a lot of things. And then the last thing is this ribbon goes really nice with this paper, Soft Sea Foam. It's real fine, and so it goes nice with all the colors that I'm using. So those are the things that I'm using for all the cards I'm going to show you tonight. I'm not going to show you how to do every single card, so I have a couple to show you as well, samples that you can. I like to give credit to people that have inspired me. One of them is Susan Campfield, and some of you know that she's one of my favorite artists recently. Just looking for the right stuff here to start. I'm gonna show you the one I did, and then I'm gonna show you, well, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. I decided to use, here's all my stuff, sorry. So this is the card that I did with this new crisscross technique, and this technique is from Terry Gaines. I don't like how it turned out on the white background because a lot of my paper was white. So I'm changing this up, and I'm praying it's going to look okay, because I just sort of grabbed colors that I thought were going to look good. So we are using Calypso Coral as the card base, and I just had a piece here that was cut 4 1/4 by 11. So I we're going to open this a different direction. I'm using white. I didn't realize that was stamped on the other side. Oh well. I'm using white instead of Pear Pizzazz for the circle. I'm still using Mossy Meadow for the little berries that I cut. These two, of course, are from Stylish Shapes. Then my strips, I have 4 strips. So these are the different designs that I'm using. So you need 4 different designs, and mine are just the opposite side of these. So these are my 4 strips. They're 1/2 inch by 12. You don't need quite 12, but instead of cutting them down, I just cut them in 12-inch strips. Then you need a 2-inch by 5.5 inch piece of paper where you're going to do the crisscross pattern on. You also want your silicone mat because of gluing this. It works really well. And then I've got some pieces there. I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet for putting that together. So the first thing that we're going to do is this 2-inch by 5.5 inch piece. We're going to score that at every inch. So I'm going to just measure here. There's an inch there. And then I'm going to come up here. Actually, let me just cut this first. It looks like it's a little bit larger than 5.5. And that's going to make it, oops, I didn't want to score it. I wanted to cut it, and now it's going to rip it. Why did I do that? Okay. All right. Yeah. I bent it with the scoring tool, and then that wanted to cut it. Let me just trim it. Oh, if I had scissors, I would trim it with my scissors. That's going to be a problem. I do need scissors. All right, let's go ahead and start again. So this is 5.5, so 4.5 would be, well, actually, I got to start at this side because I already did one here. So I'm going to come down to 3.5. I'm just measuring down. I'm just subtracting now and measuring. So then 2.5, then 1.5, and then 1/2 inch. A 1/2 inch is going to be the last one. And then I'll hopefully be able to trim that up whenever I get my scissors back. All right, so that's all I need for that right now. The next thing that we're going to do is you're going to start with 2 of these. So I'm going to start with the lighter colors, or the solid colors, and we're going to start by adding adhesive to the opposite side. I separated it from the other one so I don't get confused. So I'm going to just, you can use whatever adhesive you want. And because I'm not sure what parts of this I'm going to use, I'm just doing it almost the whole way. I left about 3 inches at the bottom that I don't think I'll need. And I can always add more adhesive if I need to down there. Okay, so you don't want to get those sticking together, so just be real careful with those. In fact, I'm going to bring one over here while I'm working this direction. So you're going to start at the top corner, and you're going to take it to the 1-inch mark. I hope you can see that. Let me just zoom in a little bit for you so that you can see what I'm doing a little better. Okay, so hopefully you can see the 1-inch score mark there. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to see where I'm at here with this. Oh, of course, I did that before. Never mind. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the adhesive here because I always want to start with that end because you see my flowers, they're directional, so I want to make sure that they're going up. So I had to add the rest of the adhesive there. All right, so lining that up. And I'm just going to tear this carefully. I don't want to tear it inside of this 2-inch piece. So I'm just going to tear it carefully. Lay that aside. Go to my next one, which I'm going to have to add the adhesive here too because this one is directional also. And then this one is going to start at this 1-inch mark, and it's going to go down to the 2-inch mark, or to the 2-inch score line. And then you just keep repeating that. So come back up here line it up to the third line, give that a little tear. Hey Sylvia, welcome. And the next one, and then we have one more. Actually, we have two more, I lied. We still have this little piece at the bottom. See, this is what I have left over here. So this little piece at the bottom, this one, you don't really have anything over here to line it up with. So what I did was I got it on the score line here, and then I just eyeballed it so that it was going the same amount between here, and then pressed that down. Okay, so we have that done. I'm hoping that these colors are going to look nice together. I have no idea. All right, so now we're ready to do these two. So I'm going to flip those over. We're going to add adhesive. Maybe I can do this right this time. That one doesn't matter, so I just hate to waste adhesive. And let's see, we're going to be going this direction this time. So okay, so now we're going to start from this side. This is the opposite side, sort of the crisscross pattern, and we're going to start at the top corner over here and come to it's a little hard to see where your score line is because you have it probably covered, but you can see where your paper started, your other piece started. So you just look at that. And then I'm going to start this one here, bring it down to that score line, give that a little tear. You could use two mats if you wanted to get everything sticking to your silicone mats. All right, we need this one. I did tear one when I was doing my other card. Fortunately, it's under here, but I think I got it okay. But it's easy to tear this in too far because the edge of this, this is pink, petal pink. The edge of this is the very edge of that card, so you don't want to tear that in too far. And then this one, we are almost done. And we're to the point where I'm going to need my scissors, and there's nobody in the house, so I can't be like, hey, somebody bring me my scissors, because I forgot them. They're not far away, though. I'll grab them quick. All right, so last but not least, you can see up here we still need something. So what we're going to do is this piece right here is the bottom edge. So like we did on the other one, I'm going to start this one here, and I'm just going to eyeball it so that it's going about the same amount right there. Okay? All right, let me grab the scissors and then I'll show you how to finish that. I'll just grab all my tools. That way, hopefully, we'll have everything that I need. All right, so I'm just going to flip this over. Go ahead and tear that off. And we're just going to trim right along this edge. And some of these have more than one piece, so it's a little tricky because you're like, oh wait, am I cutting into my cardstock? But some of them you'll have two pieces to cut at a time. Down here we're going to try to fix my mess up. Hopefully it got covered up enough with the paper. Okay. I'm going to just set that aside. I think I'm finished with that. And there we go. Yeah, I like that because you can see these crisscrosses a lot better than this one. Okay, so this one is going to go on to my Calypso Coral. Looks like I might have to trim that bottom down anyways. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. I hear hubby coming in, so he probably forgets that I'm live. So hopefully he doesn't yell for me or need something. My grandson, my 10-year-old, got a deer on Saturday night. So the boys had to go cut it up tonight. So that's where he was at. So excited for him. He was so proud of himself. And his little brother jumped and yelled. Rhett was yelling like, "Oh, I'm so proud of my brother." And that was before they even found the deer. So he was pretty excited. I'm going to go ahead and just pop this in place so that you can't see that branch that's stamped on there. We're just using the opposite side. And I'm just going to lay that there. Next, I'm going to grab the my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Let me scoot some things out of the way here so we have room. And then we're going to cut those pieces from that designer paper. And I'll show that to you in a second. So let me grab this. Okay, so here's the paper. We're going to use a little bit of everything. So I'm going to grab, let's see, what colors do I want? I think I'm going to use this blue piece here because that blue paper, that might highlight that nicely. And let's see, what else do I want? I want one of these stems here, and maybe I'll just grab that. Actually, this orange flower is going to look better with that. So let me just grab that whole section right there, and then we can just cut out what we want. Might as well go down around here. You don't want to cut into something that you might want to use later, so you just want to cut it carefully as you go. And you might not be able to cut every piece if you leave it whole like this at one shot, because I'm just looking at what other colors we have here. Okay, I do want another flower, and the only other flower, actually this one right here would be good, because, but then maybe I want this instead. I'll show you why. I'll show you why I said that. Because this rose and the other rose that I cut out, they're different colors, but I might want a different style of flower. So you see what I mean? Like, I chose this Calypso Coral one, but instead of this one, I'm going to use the Petal Pink to go with the Petal Pink on our card. And then we've got the Calypso Coral as well. Okay, so what we can do is lay out a bunch of these pieces. Let me get all the dies here. Let's see, we don't need that one. I might cut out this little guy. Shoot, I'm missing one. I'm missing this piece. It must still be on my table. Okay, let's see, what can we do? This one goes here, and I'm missing the rose as well. All right, well, we'll get these lined up here. That's the problem when you're moving places, when you got to get your video ready. And I had some, let me just make sure it's not with my other cards here. I don't think so, but okay. All right, let's do with what we have. And this one, I do have that one. That's this one right here. It's really cool when they have all these things done for you already. But then it's nice to stamp your own too, because then you can make lots of them, right? Okay, I might as well cut those leaves out. Maybe we'll use that instead of the other stem. Let's see if I can do them both at the same time. If not, I'll put this flower up here, and then I can do these all. I do like to tape these down before I cut, because I'm really bad at getting them like messed up. And I thought I grabbed tape, but Not sure where I put it. I just threw everything in here, so I'm going to try to lay it carefully and press it together. We'll get it started. Okay, that should be, hopefully that's enough to give us some nice looks. And then I do want to add this rose though, because I think it's going to be pretty. All right. I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. This blue one is so pretty. Okay. Let's just see what we have so far. We might not need the rest. This flower is just a little bit big, but maybe with these pretty, those pretty green leaves. But I want my tag somewhere here. So I sort of want it there, but then maybe I don't need a tag. I don't know. I really like how that looks. What do you guys think? Yeah, thanks, Lara. I thought too it was a different technique. I've done the one where you do the lattice where you cut it and you have to fold it and everything. I like this because it's nice and flat and it will still send well. All right, I think I like this. I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. And then maybe I won't do a saying on the front. It will just be like whatever I want it to be. And, you know, then I can just write on the inside. Get my glue going here. I think I had it laying open too long out there. All right. Come on. All right, let me grab another one. One that's sitting upside down so that I can actually hopefully get some glue out of it. I think this just goes nicely. It pulls that blue together there. And this helps to pull together the green that we used. And then this one I'm going to pop up with some dimensionals. It's always scary doing something different than what you designed because, what if it doesn't look right? All right, and then because that has dimensionals, I'm just going to put a little bit of green glue on these leaves and go like that. Okay, I think I like that. And then we do need a little bit of bling, and I do need to trim that a little bit better. It's a lot of layers to go through, so it's a little hard to trim when you have it on the card. Okay, so let's pull out the iridescent, the opal rounds, and get a couple of them on here, because that really just need a little shimmer to this card yet. These are a little big. I like the smaller ones, but I've used up all of those. And the other thing that I didn't do that I did with this one, whoops, got some gold ribbon too, is added these edge pieces. Now, I do have a blue one here, and we can look at that and see what we think. But I don't think it needs it, but it might just pull in that blue. Let me just see what it looks like in here if I didn't glue this down too hard. Give me 1 second. I just want to lift. I don't think that's going to work. I got that glued down pretty good. So I think we could add this here if we want to just pop a little bit more blue, and I think I'm going to do that. Oh, this gold ribbon. I cannot throw this away, and it keeps coming back to haunt me. There's still little filaments of gold there. I'm not using you tonight. You go back there. You know, that gold just wants me to use it all the time. It's so in your face. Narcissistic, maybe? I don't know. Is that what it is? All right. Yeah, I think that's a good little touch there. Okay, so I hope you like that technique. Simple, score a 1 inch down the 2 by 5.5 inch piece of paper whatever color you choose. You need 4 different designs of designer paper that will go together, cut in 1/2-inch strips, and you can go to town with this technique. Really easy to do. All right, you ready for another one? Oh, good, Sylvia, I'm glad you think it doesn't need a tag, because I can't find a place to put it. All right, so let me just bring those 2 in so that you can see the 2 together and see how different they look. I really do like this with the 3 flowers, and I didn't use this purple flower, which I think I still could. I think I could probably pop that on there. We could probably pop that on there as another little color, but it's very similar in style to this flower too. So, all right, so on to the next one. Actually, before I go to the next one, I'm going to show you one that I'm not going to do tonight, but I love how it turned out. So I used that same paper that, let's see, I think I used that. Have to look at my sample. Yeah, this is one of the strips that I used. And so for my paper, I used Blushing Bride. So all kinds of crazy colors going on here. Flirty Flamingo. This is Positively Pink. And then I have Granny Apple Green for the greens in here. And of course, there's that green ribbon. That's just so pretty with that. Okay. All right. So the next card. And you've seen me do this one before, but I thought it was fun with this. So I'm not even sure what it's called, but it's a tall card. I'm not tall, but it opens the tall way. And yeah, and so you just use this piece as a connection between the top and the bottom. And I'm going to switch this one up. Oh, goodness, I just can't do things exactly the same. So I'm starting with a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 7 1/2. And we're going to score that at 2. So 2 inches so far is the easy thing to remember. So we're going to score that at 2. That's going to leave us with 5 1/2 this direction. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fold that over. I have also already cut a 2-inch piece, the 2-inch piece off. So I cut it at 7 1/2. So this was actually 7 1/2, 9 1/2 inches. And then I scored it at 2 inches, and then at 7 1/2 I cut off 2 inches. So that's going to be my bottom part. So let me burnish this because we want this to lay flat. All right, now I'm using this paper, and again, this is like a Calypso Coral pinkish orange. So I decided to use Calypso paper as my center. So instead of, let me just show you, here I did the green on the white, here I'm doing white on the orange, on the colored piece. So I did this in the Quatrefoil embossing folder, and this camera just doesn't do it justice, but it's so beautiful. Let's go ahead and just glue that into place. I'm just trying to be really careful here with my Seal Plus because it likes to pull up embossed images, especially this one because it has so much detail to it. So if you want measurements here, the Calypso Coral is 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, and then the white is 4 by 2 1/2, and then embossed. And then these pieces are 1 3/4 by 4 to go on top of the 2-inch pieces of cardstock. So one of them will go up here at the top with like an 1/8 inch border all around. And then this one will go down here at the bottom with the same amount of border. I just love when things are similar or the same size so that I don't have to think too much. Now this does not get glued down because we want that to be able to open. So to glue this down, it's going to help you the most if you take it
and you lay it here and you say, okay, how much room do I have for adhesive? Because you want a lot of adhesive because this is movable, and you definitely want to use either Seal Plus, green glue, or tear and tape. And I want to make sure that I'm gluing a large portion of this. So I'm going to start at the edge, and then I'm going to come in about 1 inch, if I can get this to roll. And I'm going to do the same at the bottom. Come in, tearing it again. Why am I doing that? That's sticking here. Supposed to be cantankerous. I'm pressing really hard. That's probably why. Okay. All right, so I want to make sure that this is lined up good. If you need to, tack it down with some washi tape to make sure that it stays nice and straight, you can do that. And then I just want to try to center this all directions. It helps if you can stand up and look at over the top, but my camera is right in my way, so I can't quite do that. All right, I think that sort of looks straight. It's gonna have to be. Here it goes. All right, so I did stamp and die cut. See, that's where that die cut is. Both of these I just did before I came in here. That's why neither of them are with me. And I'm going to just go ahead and put some green glue on here. That's the one that's not working. I think it might be empty. Actually, I did get a little bit out of it, didn't I? Ooh, got way too much there. Let me just get this little goober came off. I want that to lay down flat. Let me get rid of the glue on my fingers here. And then I think I'm going to pop this one up with some dimensionals. All right, so we are almost finished with this one. I'm trying to think if I had a tag for that one. If I did, I dropped it on the way here. But there you go. How pretty is that? And you could add a bow if you wanted to. This would even go with Old Olive. So lots of things you could do there. I did add the bow on this one, so you can see how that looks. I see I don't have a circle here like I have this one. I'm not sure if I intended to. I don't think I did. I don't think I did because I was doing this in white, but I think it looks pretty just like that, and we could do a saying across here. All right, so that's the second technique. If anybody knows what that technique is called, you can mention that. I do want to show you how I use this because it's so pretty. So I cut this whole piece out. This was one whole piece, but I cut it in half so that I can make 2 cards with it. And I apologize, I don't remember who I got this idea from. It was on the demonstrator planning place for the demonstrators, and she had some beautiful cards. So, so this card is, the card base itself is 6.5 inches, scored at 4 1/4. Okay. And so let me go ahead and do parts of this for you. So I have my 8.5. So if you want to, you can just cut off 2 inches. Did I say that right? Yeah, 2 1/4. So I'm just going to cut 2 inches off of here. And I'm going to keep this. I need this. You'll see why in a second. All right, so I want to, as you'll see, this piece does not go in very far. It's not going to be a lot to glue down there. All right, so I'm going to just put a tiny bit of glue on the tips of each of these. Yeah, everything from class from last week is still bagged and boxed up, so I don't have any of my tools out except some of the bare necessities. I got to keep the baby all day Saturday, And so that was wonderful. I didn't, well, I had to make lunch yesterday, but I wasn't at my house. We went to Joel's parents. So that was nice. We got to spend some time there. Now, a couple of things. You could use this piece for the front. As I did here, I did the quatrefoil on this, and that just makes it so beautiful. So elegant. But you do need a piece for the inside, and I do want to cut this down just a tad because I want it to look uniform. So I'm just going to take like 1/4 of an inch off there. But I want to cover this edge here so it doesn't, so it holds but doesn't show. So I'm just going to go like this. So again, let's get going to get adhesive on here. But I'm also going to come in here with my green glue. I just want to make sure that I have this glued down good. Okay, so just because I might not have adhesive here in every spot, I do want to make sure that it gets completely glued down there. All right, so that just finishes the inside a little nicer so that that raw edge isn't sticking out there. You could emboss this piece the same as the piece that you're going to emboss for here, but I didn't think that was completely necessary. So I got something on that. Need my adhesive eraser. I think I got some glue on there. Probably came through here, I think. Now, whenever you go to glue your pieces on here, these are all stamped and die cut, and then I used our glimmer white for that. You just have to be careful that you don't glue on this edge over here because it's all going to show and stick through here. So you want to just glue everything on the left side. Okay? All right, so that's all I'm showing you on that part. Get this in camera here. So this is using that beautiful paper that I'm out of, so I can't even finish the front of this card. And then this is a belly band so that you can just open up the card then and stamp or write inside whatever you want to do there. And I'm going to show you how I put the belly band on so that you'll know how to do that. Let me just stick this back on here so that that's completed. I just like how thin and elegant this belly band looks on this card. Okay, so to start with, you're going to have a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece. You're going to score at 3 1/8. 3 1/8 and 7 3/8. Got too many tools laying around. 7 3. Let me see here. Here's 1/4. Here's 3/8. I want to end up with a 4 1/4 inch piece here. So let's see if we did that. If I put this on the score line, yep, 4 1/4. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fold those and burnish those. Yes, a good way to use up your scraps. For sure. Thank you. Glad you like that. All right, so now I'm using I'm going to say this wrong. I always get this blue color wrong. Yeah, this light blue. There's a couple colors that are like that. I don't know why. I struggle with that so much. Balmy. It used to be Bashful. We've changed so many colors over 26 years. Okay, so I'm going to give you these measurements just so that in case you want to repeat this card. So, so this is 3 inches. Actually, this is 3 1/8 this front. So this piece is 3 by 5 and 3/8. Yeah. Let me think. 5.5. Yeah, 5 3/8. So 3 by 5 3/8. I should write that on here. So here's the scoring, and excuse my mess. So 3 by 5 3/8. Then this piece is 5 3/8 by 1. 1 by 5 3/8. Okay, because this piece is actually 1 1/8. So 1 1/8 and 3 1/8 is equals 4 1/4. And this is not quite butting up against, so I'm going to just force it a little bit so that it lays flatter. And you might have to do that because scoring, especially on when I use the Simply Scored, I do feel like I get a more real measurement. I want to say that when you're scoring on something like this, your measurement is very subjective. In other words, depends on what part of the line you stick your paper on will determine where your scoring is. But when you're using the Simply Scored, you don't choose that. It chooses it for you because you're always popping it up against the edge. So it's always the same every time. And just because I was cutting a lot, I just decided not to just use both of those tonight, okay? Sure, you wanted that whole rigmarole, right? I'm going to go ahead and glue the blue piece down. I have to order some more of this paper so I can finish this card. I think I made some boxes with this paper, which is why most of it's gone. And then this one. And then my designer paper will be an 1/8 inch down from those measurements that I just gave you. So if you can subtract, it will be 2 7/8 by 5 1/4. And this one will be 7/8 of an inch by 5 1/4. Okay? There's math class for today. How's that? All right, so belly band. Let me stick this piece on. I do have this blue piece, so I can put that on. This glue is getting towards the end, and I'm having a hard time with it. Get over there a little bit. I don't think I cut that very straight. I really like that hint of a flower in there. It's such pretty. Okay. So for the belly band, this is just an 8.5 inch piece by 1/2 inch. All right. Now, if you do the math, you'll realize that this is just going to go around and it's not going to meet because it has all that fullness in there. But that's okay. We're just going to bring it together like this. And it's not going to meet there. But I have this little greeting tag from the from that die set that I told you about, Stylish Shapes, and that's just going to go over top of here, and that's going to hold those together, and then I'll be able to add my flower here. Now, I think, did I bring the saying? I didn't bring that saying. Yeah, I hate to stick it down without before I stamp it. So what I did was I just put a couple of glue dots right here and a couple of glue dots here and then maybe one on the end because I wasn't sure exactly where they would line up, and then I just pressed that in place. And then that held this band completely together. If you look at the back here, you can see where my pieces, my camera just died. Here, let me pull this off so you can see it. Okay, so you can see there how it goes together. So it's just glue dotted on there. All right, you can use green glue too, whatever works. Okay, so and then I just stamped and die cut a flower and a leaf set, and yeah, added my little bling there, and good to go. Okay, I think that is everything. So guys, who would like to have 2 of these cards mailed to them once I complete them? Make sure that you say, put me on the list, and I will do a drawing for next week, and I'll give away 2 of these cards, okay? I think that's all I have, but I have a whole list of things that I want to show you. I cannot wait to be back next Monday, and I have some more techniques that I've been just going over writing lists and have so many things that I want to show you and do. So come back next Monday. And yeah, don't forget to say hi when you're here. I know a lot of you do, and I so appreciate that. But I know there's some of you that might be new, and you might be afraid to say hi. But don't be afraid. I don't stalk you. I'm just happy that you're here, and I hope that you can learn something from me in my, what do you want to say, my throw it together ways. So, all right, have a wonderful week. Take care. God bless.